Like, I love doing an hour and a half long chat tonight, but I'm probably not gonna. Probably gonna keep it to like 45 minutes or so. But hello, interweb and people. Um, Welcome to the early show with Angry and Bjorn. We might have some other people hop in and join us, but we'll see. Links are out, but I literally just sent out links maybe 10 minutes ago, so kind of got behind. Got stuck late on work. Had to go pick up my car from the garage, so I had to stay late at work a little bit, and then went for a walk. Came home, ate, started watching All Quiet on the Western Front. I'm about half an hour into that, and I was like, "Oh shit, my chat." So here I am. Paused it for you folks. You're welcome. But what's up, Simple Dan? What is up? Hi, sucker. Uh, yeah. So not bringing a ton of topics for tonight. Tonight's probably going to be a slow or a shorter chat. I know last week we went for like an hour and a half. Next week, Tuesday, I'm likely not going to do a chat driving. Patrick, nice. I feel special. Well, you are special. Next week, probably not going to do a chat on Tuesday because it is midterm election. So I know a lot of people are going to be doing streams and stuff. Don't know if like Matt or Honda or any of them are doing a stream, but obviously they're a bigger channel, so probably gonna watch it over there. But maybe I'll do something Wednesday night before Matt's show or Thursday. We'll see. But yeah, topic wise, don't have much. It's been a hell of a week for me. I was supposed to have, well, I technically still have Thursday, Friday, and Monday off. I'm supposed to go see a comedian on Thursday in Hershey, which is about a 2-hour drive. And I just found out today that the tickets I bought from Ticketmaster, here's a small little gripe I have on Ticketmaster. I've bought some stuff from them in the past and never really had an issue, but they're not usually my go to. Don't know why I bought these tickets on Ticketmaster, honestly. I think it's just because it was the first place that came up that had prices on them. But when I bought them, they had it listed as general admission upsell tickets. So I spent a good chunk of change on these tickets. Like I bought 2 tickets. They were $100 a piece. Got them, and they said general admission and meet and greet. So I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm doing a meet and greet with the comedian I'm seeing, which whatever I really don't give two shits about, but also general admission. So today I get an email from the venue, who's separate from Ticketmaster, stating that I have to have both the meet and greet tickets and a general admission ticket. So I'm like, that's weird. I don't know anything about general admission ticket. To my knowledge, that's what this is. So I called the venue. They can't help me because I bought the ticket through Ticketmaster. So reach out to Ticketmaster, which I don't understand. Huge company. Call their hotline. It says right on their hotline, we don't have live people monitoring the phones. You're not going to get a phone call back. If you want to connect with a representative, connect either via our chat or email. We'll get back to you within 12 to 24 hours. So I'm like, fucking great. So I send them a message on their little chat thing. Of course, you get an automated bot thing that doesn't help you and then says, oh, I'll get you a live person. So I sat around for like 2 hours waiting for a live person. Didn't get anyone. Had to go pick up my car from the shop, which is a whole nother story on its own. Come back, the person responds that, oh, yeah, I see that you bought 2 tickets. Do you have any other questions? Yeah. What are my tickets? Are they just for the meet and greet or are they for the general admission and the meet and greet? Because if just for the meet and greet, I want a refund, they're not worth my time. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm going for the comedy show. The meet and greet's just a bonus. So going back and forth, and they're responding like every 20 minutes or so, every 20 to 30 minutes. So I got a message back from another lady saying that, nope, your show for general admission, because they say right on the ticket, general admission, but they don't give a specific seat. They give like a section. So, and when I bought the tickets, it highlighted a section of the theater and said general admission. So I'm like, okay, cool. My seats are somewhere in there. Well, I just got a message back about an hour ago stating that nope, these tickets are only for the meet and greet. If you want general admission tickets, you have to buy those separate, which now are like 70, $80. And basically, good luck. So I'm, of course, trying to demand a refund on them and all this headache. So fuck Ticketmaster. That's what my situation right now stands as fuck Ticketmaster. Now, if they come back and they say, hey, we're willing to refund you or give you a majority refund or something like that, because clearly we misadvertised these tickets as something that they weren't, cool. Because when I bought them, they never said that they were meet and greet only. They said general admission. So, but as of right now, that's where I stand on Ticketmaster. So don't buy tickets from them. And if they end up not refunding me, I'm just not going to this thing because I'm not spending an extra, a couple $100 for it's not worth it. So, yeah, outside that,
Plus gas money.
well, that's the thing. Plus gas, like it's going to cost me alone at least $50 in gas money just to go back and forth. Probably a little bit more. Then wear and tear on the car. Then grabbing dinner. Like, if they end up not refunding it, I got to make up that money somehow. So it's going to be how I do it, unfortunately. Then on top of that, I spent another almost $400 on my car this week because I was coming home. So Saturday night, went to a Halloween party up north. We were there late. Ended up staying over someplace pretty late. Started coming home in the morning, and it was my own fault. Like I should have just stayed later and crashed out there. But I was like, no, like I've driven home this tired before. Like I can make it, no big deal. So I started driving home. I'm on the turnpike, and before I always hit that stretch of road, I always stop at like a gas station, grab like water, energy drink, something to keep myself going. And for whatever fucking reason this time, I didn't. So I got on the highway and I was like, okay, well, there's two, like pull out like refuel stations on the way. Like one of them's about 20 miles down the road from where I get on. The other one's about another 30 miles past that. And I have to go like 115 miles in total. So I'm getting up to the first one and I'm like, oh, cool, 2 miles. Next thing I know, I'm like, as I'm like passing the exit, I'm like, fuck. I was like, God damn it. I like zoned out for a second or like fell asleep. I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, well, next one's 30 miles, just like windows down, music on, I'll be good to go. Get like 9 miles down the road. I remember looking at the mile marker and going, only 21 miles left. Next thing I know, boom, wakes me up. I hit the barrier. Like, thank God I didn't hit it that bad and like really damage my vehicle, but I hit it enough that it knocked my car out of alignment. Of course, it's setting off like the traction control sensor, so knocked the rear view mirror like completely fell down, so like came off its clip. I had my Beretta in the little side door that goes like as I'm like waking up, I see it in the holster like flying across the seat like this. Yeah, so that was fun. That got the adrenaline going. So of course pulled over, assessed the damage. There's a small little scuff on my fender, like literally a small little scuff. Wheel was of course, little chewed up. So drove it the rest of the way home. Dropped it off yesterday, and I told the shop when I dropped it off, I'm like, hey, I got to get an oil change anyway. Change the oil, and like my steering wheel, literally driving down the road, was like this. And if you tried to straighten it, the car just goes like that. So I'm like, clearly my car is out of alignment. I don't know if I bent a tie rod or what. I'm like, whatever it is, fix it. Okay, sure thing. So they call me up later on the day. They're like, hey, all you need is a new tire. They're like, because the tire has a piece of the sidewall kind of chunked out of it. Like, you should get a new tire. Didn't want to put a new tire on because it's an all-wheel drive car. If you replace one, you're supposed to replace them all. But at $185 a pop, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that right now. So I'm like, put the one on. Fuck it. I'll wait till I get it home, and I'll just throw a set of used tires on it. Anyways, they're my winter tires, so I don't really care about the like. They're my winter wheels. I have summer wheels and stuff for other stuff. So I'm like, I'm just gonna throw used tires on it. I don't really give a shit. So they throw the tire on, do the oil change. That cost me like $260.
For an
Getting the
oil
car,
change?
well, between that and the tire, because the tire was almost $200 itself. Plus they had to mount and balance it and the oil change.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then I go and get in the car to drive it home. Steering wheel's still crooked. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, so I call them up, but like I picked it up literally as they were closing, so they were already closed. They didn't pick up. So I'm like, motherfucker. Like I asked for them to align it, they didn't. So I had to bring it back today. They aligned it today, and that was another like $106. So I'm like, cool. I'm $360 into that I didn't need to spend to begin with. Then these stupid $200 tickets on top. So my week has been infuriating to say the least, with just stupid little BS issues. So really hoping they refund these tickets, make it worthwhile. As I said, if not, I'm just gonna take my car up to my parents, spend the weekend up there, and just kind of take a long weekend, kind of de-stress a little bit, kind of declutter, get my thoughts together, help them. My parents still have been unpacking their house since they moved in March, so help them unpack and just kind of whatever. So we'll see, but that's how my week's going so far. So I'm really hoping now everything seems to be, except for the ticket thing, seems to be on the right path. So we'll see how things go forward. But what's going on in everyone else's world out there? Oh, I also bought a new gun this weekend too. That I bought before I got into the accident. So it was kind of like an impulse buy. Like if I had known I was getting into the accident, I would not have spent $200 on the gun. Um. So yeah.
Who knows you would get in the accident.
Yeah, I would have saved that money, but so that was a little painful, but whatever. But I finally got another shotgun, so
Oh, another shotgun.
yeah, because I've been looking for something like it's been on my bucket list of guns to get. Is I wanted a shotgun with a field barrel, and so they had a Maverick 88, like an older Maverick 88 that took the 3-inch shells for 214. So I bought it.
No, not that bad. How
Just
many?
10 Bs.
Yeah,
Just 10 Bs.
how many
What?
shot, how many shotguns do you need?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I have my Benelli already, which is more set up for like house defense, and I was gonna buy a field barrel for that, but to get a field barrel alone is the price of what I paid for that Maverick. So I'm like, I might as well just get another shotgun at that point.
Oh yeah. Does that have
Um,
screw-in chokes?
it does have a choke in it. I don't remember which one. I'd have to look at it.
I have
But just
I, I have the old Mossberg 500 with screw-in chokes.
yeah, this has. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it had a screw-in choke, but I think someone removed it. So it'll take screw-in choke, so I could get one.
Well, hopefully no
Uh,
one shoot it because if it damage that threads,
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I don't care enough about the fact of the matter. Um, like I just want something with a long field barrel that I could take out, like skeet shooting and stuff. But if I wanted to go bird shooting, I can. Just 10B says Ticketmaster would not accommodate anyone when floor plan changed in Florida was dead center on floor seating. Their accommodations were not even close to comparable. Fuck them. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much. I have a feeling I'm gonna end up eating the price on these tickets, and they're just gonna go, no, fuck you, too bad. In which case, like, it's gonna suck. I'm just not gonna see the comedian then, because again, like, I'm not spending an extra. It's $60 for the ticket, but then after they add all their fees and shit, like, you're probably looking at $75. Plus, again, for me to drive down to Hershey and back is gonna be probably at least $50 in fuel. And then on top of that, like you're gonna grab dinner down there because it's an all-day thing. So you're gonna grab at least dinner down there. You're gonna grab a couple drinks at the venue probably. So that's another $50. Like, no, I'm not spending an extra $200 right now. Like I just can't do it. Like I could do it, but I'm being smart and not doing it because I have Christmas coming up. I have the holidays coming up. I have and worst case scenario, I end up just postponing, waiting to see this comedian because I think they're coming back to the area. Well, they're gonna be in Boston, I think, like in April or March. So I might just wait till then to go see them there. Take a long road trip. But Patrick Pew Pew says, got a new dagger slide coming this week for an extra frame I have laying around and just got some parts for an Ithaca Model 37. Ooh, a 16 gauge. So I have to put it back together this weekend when I get home. Nice. Well, that'll be a fun project. Ithaca 37s are cool shotguns. And then it's always nice to have an extra frame laying around that you can throw a slide and stuff on.
Mm.
Provided you also have like the lower parts kit in there and all the slide parts and stuff. But
I want to modify my dad's Browning. I would probably get someday soon. All the five.
oh yeah, I had the the Savage model of that. What was it? The Model 10 or something like that they called it.
Yeah. Here's the full choke. I want to get the tool so I can put it in screw in chokes.
Nice. Yeah, mine was a I think I'm like almost completely positive on this that it originally was something with like a field barrel that they cut down because it had. I knew they made shorter versions of them, but usually they make the shorter ones with all like the hunting engraving and stuff on it. And this one had like the dove hunting engraving and stuff on it, so it made it feel like it was more of a field shotgun that they cut down. Um, but I got it for dirt cheap back. When did I get that? I
I
got it
for-
right actually right before I moved. I think I got it either like right around Christmas this time last year, or oh, that's what I got for it. I bought it last year for the This Old Gun Challenge. So yeah, it was right around this time last year.
I saw the
Um,
video of it. It's pretty nice.
yeah,
Pretty kind of cool.
yeah. I put like a leather sling. Like I made it like an old school like gangster shotgun, and then I ended up selling it to Heavy B for what I paid for it. So I mean, I made my money. Like I got my money back on it. I got to use it for a couple of videos and stuff and have my fun with it. But yeah, so that was a cool little shotgun.
I think my dad's Browning me in the 70s or something like that.
Nice.
Belgian made, so he didn't even use it because it's too nice of a shotgun too.
I mean, mine was like a really nice. Like even though they chopped it, like they kept it blued and stuff. Like it was a really nice shotgun. Like thing was almost too. And honestly, the only reason I got rid of it was because I was like, yeah, it's cool to have a semi-auto shotgun, but like I already have a home defense shotgun. I don't need an. It's not that I don't want another one, but like I didn't need another one. And at the time, I was like, hey, if I can make my money back on it, like whatever, because you could get extended magazines for it, like tubes and stuff for it. But I looked into those and like they're expensive. They're hard to track down. I found a couple online, but they're expensive, as I said. So like I was like, man, for what I'm spending on it and all this stuff, I'm like, it's not even like the shotgun that I want. So it doesn't make sense.
Nah, no point. If you
Yeah. And plus, like Heavy needed a shotgun at the time because he didn't have one. So I was like, it it helps two people out. So Patrick Pew Pew, yeah, it's a really old featherweight. Couldn't pass up the PSA Halloween deal. 169 beans for a complete slide with free shit. That's not bad at all. Yeah, that's a good deal for a complete slide.
always wanted a double barrel shotgun in 10 gauge.
Yeah, I'd like to get a double. Like if I get another shotgun down the line, like way down the line, I don't need one right now, obviously. I think I'm actually, especially with everything that happened so far this week, I'm done buying guns until the end of the year easily. I'm probably like done buying a lot of stuff until the end of the year. But I'd like to get a double barrel 12 gauge at some point, like an old like cowboy gun. I still want to get a lever action 357.
What type of like Henry or what brand you looking at?
No, probably like a Rossi or something. Like I have nothing against Henry's, but like I'm not gonna spend Henry prices on it.
I want to get a level gun. I got a 30-30, of course. I want to get a 45-70.
Yeah, 45 cent would be cool. I just don't need another caliber right now. What's up, Duke?
What's up, man? Tell me you watched it. Tell me you watched it, please.
So I started it today.
Oh!
I started it this tonight when I got back from my. I've been fucking busy the last two. I just went on a, how long have we been live? Almost 20 minutes. A 20-minute rant on how shitty my week's been so far.
Okay.
So
I'm
I
sorry.
have not had a chance to
Like the one.
watch it. I just fired it up. Like I'm about a half hour into it, and the first half hour is already fantastic.
Yeah. I've been waiting for you to watch it.
It will be watched by the end of tonight. I've already told myself, like, through Matt's chat, I'm gonna be watching it. I have some stuff I gotta do for work here. Tonight's chat's probably gonna be short, but I have some stuff I gotta do tonight for work stuff because tomorrow's my last day before vacation. So, but even through that, I'm gonna be watching it. So.
Well, good. So, here's the question though: in what form are you watching it? Are you watching it English dubbed?
Yeah,
subtitles
it's English,
German.
It's English dub, but it still has the subtitles on it.
I watched it. I didn't even pick a choice. It just like went with English dubbed, and I was fine with it. It was done well.
As soon as I select on Netflix, it came up. The only thing that's thrown me off so far a little bit is because, like, when you just click on Netflix, it comes up as English dubbed. And for anyone who's watching, we're talking about All Quiet on the Western Front. It just dropped on Netflix this past Friday, I think. But the only thing that throws me off is, like, some of these people are clearly English actors and they haven't dropped their English accent, or like it comes through in certain spots, and I'm like, wait a sec, you're supposed to be German. Like, this is weird.
It's kind of like Hunt for Red October, but but the substance is so good that I can forgive it.
Exactly. Like, it is. So far, it's really, and again, I'm only 30 minutes into it, and it's already really good.
It's a German movie, so I have to like accept that this is just the way it's going to be. The beginning was awesome. That first little bit with that kid who gets killed is so good. With the
the very opening scene,
the kid with the uniform,
that
opening trench scene was very, very intense. I'll leave it at that. So enjoy, and I look forward to talking about it when you've finished the movie. So
I literally just paused at the scene where he gets sniped on guard duty.
Okay.
So we made the movie All Quiet. I know it was a original years ago.
It's All Quiet on the Western Front.
I read the book. I know.
It's good so far. So we'll see what the next 2 hours 4 minutes and 18 seconds brings me. But so that's on the list tonight. And then, because originally, here's how blurred my week's been. So I got home. I was telling people earlier, so I'll keep it short. But I'd stay late because I had to go pick up my car from the garage. So by the time I got home, I was like, fuck. I had to stay a little bit late just to wrap up some stuff. Then went for a walk, like I usually do in the evenings. Came home, was like, I'm going to fire up Andor because, it's, a new episode of Andor must have come out. Fire it up. Nope, it drops on Wednesday. And then I'm like, why isn't there a new episode? I'm like, dumbass, it's Tuesday, not Wednesday. So I was like, let me start All Quiet on the Western Front. And then my Fire Stick was having issues, so it took it 20 minutes to load. So I'm just like, oh, God, I just want to watch this movie. So.
What do you? I have my that one gun. Have you seen it? I know I tell you about that.
The what?
I tell you about that one on the phone before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
Is that a reproduction or original?
A reproduction that made in the 60s.
So it's 22, right?
No, at 9mm.
Oh,
that's cool looking. That's actually neat. That's cool that it's a repo, because I wouldn't feel bad about shooting it and having fun with it.
I have a original, but I got this to shoot the fuck out of.
I do want to get so I dumped everything that was antique over the past 3 years that I had. I mean, I dumped Mosin Nagants, SKSs, anything that wasn't, I don't know, useful in the end. And I just now I'm kind of maybe I should go back to that in a few ways. Now I want a K98 after watching All Quiet on the Western Front.
I know, it's funny you say that, because I'm in a weird ball state where I'm the same, because part of me says my Mosin I probably won't get rid of, because that's a viable rifle. I can still get ammo all day long for it, right?
Call 98.
There you go.
But like my oh nice.
It's parade rifle, so
Yeah.
And like my Yugo M57, like yeah, it's a Tokarev, but even Toka ammo, like I can technically get pretty easily. But like my Nagant revolver, like yeah, it's cool to have it, and the fact that I still got a great deal. But like those things are going so crazy right now. I'm like, do I sell it now or do I wait and see if in 5 years it's even crazier prices, right? But like finding ammo is a pain in the ass for it. My zombie gun Argentine Mauser, like that, I doubt I'd really get anything for, but I might.
See, here's the thing: those okay. What a time that we're to be in guns, though. That we've seen the Mosin Nagant go for $79 and the revolver go for $100, and now they're $5. You know what I mean? All day long.
Yeah.
So, like, my question is, like, don't you agree that the bottom is going to fall out of that at some point?
wow. Yeah.
Because it's going to cap out. It can't go more than 5. Those can't. There's no way. M1 Grands go for so much because they're M1 Grands.
See, that's the thing. So I was talking to the guys at the gun show or the gun shop this past weekend. I'm sorry, when did I get my Beretta? 3 weekends ago. We were talking about stuff, and they do a lot of stuff where they buy used guns. And he got a call from someone there at the time, and the guy was kind of going through his track, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that stuff. Yeah, bring that in." He's like, "Anything Russian right now sells like crazy."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're not getting Russian stuff in. So he's like, anything Russian, like even mismatched shit, like bring it in because it'll sell like crazy. And I just have a feeling like I don't know when that's gonna happen because I don't expect to see any more Mosins come in or Nagant revolvers. And yeah, I mean, you have your collectors that are buying them up and holding on to them. And I would say like, yeah, a Mosin to go above 5 to me is absurd, right? It's nuts. Like, doesn't make any fathomable sense. But, you know, I look at my dad looking at a K98 Mauser, which back in the day, you know, when he was a kid was, you know, $40.
Cheap.
And now those things are going for $800 and up, like,
yeah.
And they keep going up. It's like K98, don't get me wrong, K98, great rifle, but it's not like
the best.
Mind blowing. It's just the collector aspect. So for me to
and they
have
used to be $40. That's why, and they used to be 40.
Yeah. So it's for me to have like a Nagant revolver that isn't all fucked up and shit, or like a Mosin. Like my Mosin's in great shape. It's all numbers matching. Like, yeah, it's nothing crazy like a hex barrel or a dragoon or anything, but it's.
I have a hex barrel Nagant.
Yeah, like it's a solid rifle. So like, as people bubbled shit and like everything like that, like. Is that just going to keep going?
But do you think that? Okay, so this will lead me into my next question. What about Russian ammo? Will this drastically change the AK game now that, like, the AK game has already been changed due to the fact that now they are the more expensive version versus the AR? Do you think this is going to continue to change and make it more of a not an option at all because of the ammo? Do you think the ammo is going to dry up?
I don't think the ammo is going to dry up because there's enough companies over here that could start. I mean, aren't there domestic companies already that are making 7.62 by 39? And plus, there's other former com block countries that are making 7.62 by 39. Let's bring it in.
Okay, so you don't think that it'll change the game drastically? Where like you'll want to dump your AK because ammo is so expensive and it's not an option for you just to stockpile like ARs are.
No. If you have like a 5.45 or something, that's a little different because not a lot of countries adopted 5.45. So on that standpoint, maybe. I do know that there are some com block countries that do have 5.45 that they make it, so you can still get the ammo, but it's always got to be more expensive than 7.62 by 39.
It just makes me a little sad because it feels like the ship has sailed for the Milsurp game.
Yeah.
Milsurps are
100%.
Are not what we loved them for, which were the budget option. Like I loved AKs because you could get them for $300-400.
Yeah.
And like Mosin Nagants, like you could literally with like a Mossberg pump, you could have a whole loadout of like a Mossberg pump, a Mosin Nagant, an AK, and like some Milsurp pistol, like police trade in, and you're well under $1,000
Oh yeah.
for,
Oh yeah.
for all of them back in the day.
Back at 100%. Yeah, no, and there's I want to say his name's like Mike B or something like that on YouTube. He does a lot of Milsurp stuff, like, because he used to be a Milsurp collector and like he used to have a CNR and everything like I did. And he said for the past several years, he said, honestly, like the last nail in the coffin was 2020. He said, back in the day, what really drove the Milsurp, and like when I got my CNR in 2014, if I remember correctly. Like you could still get stuff decent price. Like I got my Chinese SKS for $200.
Nice.
I got my Spanish Mauser back in the day before I sold it for $199. My Mosin, I paid I think $210 for. This one I paid $210 for. I had another one at another point that I paid like $170 for. There's a lot of guns I got cheap, but like as the internet blew up, there's a couple of things that played into it. One, video games. More and more people were playing like Battlefield 1, Call of Duty, stuff like that. And so it just made the need for those, or the desire for those guns, even higher. And then as those people got jobs and could buy stuff, those guns were still cheap. They were buying them all up.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you have all these big YouTube channels that are like, oh, here's the top 5 Milsurp guns, blah, 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 which is great to educate people. But on the flip side, people are like, oh, I can go out and buy this cheap gun. I don't have to buy what Joe Bob says down at the gun shop. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go buy this cool cheap old gun.
Yeah.
And then lastly, you start seeing all the collectors and stuff, and like it was kind of like the collector car market. Like everyone instantly thought that their Mosin was worth $400 or $500 because this one Mosin sold for that.
Well,
and it's
look, I mean, I'm looking at Classic right now. Finnish Mosin Nagants. $849.
I got other guns like
$799. That's crazy, man.
That's nuts price. It used to be you could pick up a Finnish Mosin for like when I got my Mosin, a Finnish Mosin was like $350, maybe $400 for like the nicest Finnish Mosin.
I wish I got the Finnish Mosin, but
it's just it makes me sad for a day where Milsurps were an option for the budget. It was fun. It was kind of like, I don't want to say hipsterish, but it was kind of like a cool thing where you were like, I got my Mosin and I'm going to the woods. Like it's just
my span can.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a cool,
a
cool way of thinking, and it was a budget way of doing things.
Yeah. Want to catch up on some chats here. Guy in the comments says no bolt gun is worth more than $500. That's not true. There's a lot of high quality bolt guns out there that are worth more than $500.
Well, here a Mauser, really good condition.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Milsurps, then you might be although there's some unique ones out there that I would still say are worth over $500. Simple Dan says Serbia, Turkey, and Czech Republic will pick up the slack on Warsaw ammo. Yeah, probably. Daniel says, angry, you also got people like Honda permanently mutilating guns. Well, that's the thing, too, because back in the day, like I remember being on the forums, people were buying, like the SKS was the poor man's AK, right? Like you couldn't spend $400 on AK, but you could spend $150 on SKS, buy a Tapco furniture kit and go mall ninja it out. Like, and same thing with Mosins and stuff. Like people were doing stupid shit because everyone's like, oh, Mosins are always just be $100 or $120. Like who cares what I do to it? Kind of like what we did to the zombie guns. Like when I butchered that Argentine Mauser, I didn't give a shit because the thing was already had like a chopped down stock, rear sight all jacked up. Like I bought it for $140 or $50. So like I didn't care. Like like I don't blame people, but then so many people bubbled that shit that now it's like, now the good examples, and again that goes back to that whole collector's item. Like people are taking those good examples, they're paying stupid money for it, and then everyone sees it and goes, oh, well, that's worth. Like, there's nowhere on this planet that this should be going for $500.
I wish I could.
If anyone shot one of these, they suck. Like they're cool, but they suck.
Should deploy a Huron.
Yeah, like this. I've seen people on the double action, like break trigger gauges on double action pulls on these.
Oh, here,
Oh.
he hung out in the chat.
Oh. You mean making your guns more expensive? They were $700 in Tulsa. I'm assuming he means for SKSs. Yeah, I remember back in the pandemic, I think it was late 2020, I went to one gun show the entire time during the pandemic, which I guess, I don't know, whenever the hell that ended or whatever, but it says eating dinner. But went to one gun show and they had Yugo SKSs, which, like, when I bought my SKS for $200, like Yugo SKSs were maybe going for $4, if that. They wanted like almost $1,100 for Yugo SKSs. Like Chinese SKSs were going for $8. I was like, there's no planet that a beat to shit Chinese SKS should be $800. Like, I'm sorry, for $800 I can buy like a used AK, you know. In fact, I almost bought. Granted, it was a Vishka, but I almost bought a Vishka this weekend, and that was $670, and it came with Magpul furniture on it. Like,
I got lucky with my SKS. I got a Chinese that was a Broomback from Nam.
It's cool. Just like SKSs. I would be into them all day if I lived in like a communist nation like California. Like, there's no way that I'm using an AR with a drop top or whatever they call them when I have an option for an SKS or an M1 Grand or a M14 or whatever. All those options are like, that's what I'm using all day long.
100%. When Juicer says, Jesus, I remember SKSs growing up being like $89. Yeah. And I've said a ton of times on Matt's chats, but like my dad and I in the 90s, like mid to late 90s, we'd go to gun shows almost every weekend. And I remember there was barrels of SKSs and people would literally be like, oh, you bought this gun? Here's a free SKS. Like, just take it. Like, get it the fuck out of here. I don't want it. It's all dripping in Cosmoline and everything. Like, they didn't wipe them down or clean them and shit. And even if you wanted to buy one, like, it was like $79, $89. Like, they were a dime. And like Mosins were even cheap. Like, Mosins were like, oh, here's a $50 rifle. Like, you know.
My dad, we admitted Lugos used to be like $20. My dad wished he bought 20, 40 of them.
And I get it. Like, if you could go that far back, and that is cool. It's just, even in our brief history of being gun guys, because we're all still relatively young. Jordan, I don't know how old you are, but I mean, Inger and I are around the same age. And just in the past 10 years of us like having incomes, being able to buy guns, it's just crazy to me that so much has changed. And that's a part of the game. I get it. I'm not like mad. I'm just saying I long for the days where we could talk, because those were really viable options for people, for us as like kind of / collectors, preppers into all that. Those are important aspects to me, to be successful.
There's still deals that can be had. You just have to look a little bit harder, and you have to look outside the box a little bit more. Like, it's not so blatant. And I think it's just that train everyone rode for so long that now the train's changed, and so it's like, don't tell me that the Nagant revolvers were going for $700 in Tulsa. I'd be selling it right now. And Daniel, yes, I do remember when Matt mutilated a PU sniper. I think he still has that Mosin. Maybe not, but Simple Dan says, yeah, I remember Egyptian Mahdi was selling for $500 back in 2005. Yeah, that's like a $1,200 gun now. Easy. I wish I had money back when if I was in the situation I am now, back in, the mid to late 2000s, it'd be like Bitcoin.
Yeah, I would have bought a crate of Mosins. That would have been super cool. And what would have been cool is to get like 3 of us to do it. Like, okay, dude, we got $300. Like, let's get it like 333, 350, 350, 350. Let's get a box of Mosins and get them sent out. You know what I mean? That would be cool.
I remember back in the day, there was one forum, I forget the forum I was following, but there's one forum, and someone had taken like a crate of Mosins, and they had like made a glass top for it and like little stands for it, and they put like lights inside the crate and
Yeah.
stuff, and they made it into a coffee table.
They're awesome.
Like you could technically
$1,000.
take the glass. Yeah, like you could take the glass off technically and like still access the rifles, but like yeah, it was a coffee table. Like
That would be a cool coffee table in like a man cave, like a
yeah,
study.
well that's
Have
the
that
thing.
in
Yeah,
there. That would be super
Yeah.
cool. You,
But-
you look down and there's just a crate of Mosins in there.
but now you look at it and that's like $5,000+ coffee table. Like,
Yeah. That is pretty cool. But I guess the flip side is, the gun market is drastically different now. It is
Mhm.
definitely a buyer's market. There's lots of stuff on the used forums I can't believe some of the prices on stuff. It's pretty low. As a guy who buys and sells guns pretty frequently and kind of loves to chase that market sometimes, and was able to do it all legally, but had a lot of fun during COVID where I would buy Glocks for $400, turn and flip them and sell them for $7,800 within like a day or two, or whatever
yeah,
a week or so, whatever it was. But buying, selling guns and having fun with it, and that was a good time. And because you couldn't get Glocks, and so you had somebody who needed money at the time, and you have cash and give them cash, and then be able to kind of turn that around to somebody who was looking for a gun, and sell it. Those were fun times. But I guess that's just that's done right now. But a lot of people are selling things, so they're out there.
yeah, and I think the next, excuse me, as the next couple years go about, and things get tighter for people, I think more and more guns are going to be hitting the market. People are going to be getting rid of their excess stuff. I get it. So
Depending on the collectors
really-
too. If they're getting old, they might sell out, and if people lose interest on the old guns, value going to drop.
maybe. Juicer says, Patrick Pew Pew, my cousin bought one for like $110, had it a few years, and I guess sold it for $350 during 2020. I'm assuming he means the Star Model BM that Patrick Pew Pew was talking about, or Juicer was talking about. Yeah, the Star Model BMs were cool. I wish I'd jumped on that bandwagon. I didn't, though, because at the time I was in the press, like doing moves and stuff like that. So I kicked myself. I mean, there's obviously a lot of older guns that I wish I bought back in the day when I could have. And
the only thing I have with that is like a Mosin Nagant is a bolt action rifle. Okay. A bolt action is pretty reliable. When it comes to Star Model B9, like stuff like that, I question the integrity of the firearm and would be a little concerned to want to own something like that on my end. That's just how I look at it. I get it, but
yeah, no, they're pretty solid, reliable designs. I mean, I've bought probably the only gun semi-auto-wise I ever bought that was Milsurpy, and I didn't even buy it on my CNR. I just bought it, was that Hell one. But those were notorious not made great, and it was just the steer spring that I needed to replace, because the first time I loaded up a mag and fired at the range, it decided that it wanted all 8 rounds to come out at once.
oh gosh,
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's a surprise. But it was just because the steer spring broke on it. So I replaced the steer spring, was fine. And I bought that gun for $200, or just under $200 in like 2019, like right before the pandemic. Less than a year later, I sold that gun towards the end of 2020 to a guy that was like a Beretta collector, like Beretta like he was a 92 collector. So like any of those types of guns he bought. And he's like, oh, I've been looking for a Hell one. And I threw it up on Arms List with an astronomical price. I'm like, $400. No one's going to buy it for $400.
he bought it.
Not only was this guy like, I'll buy it, he's like, I will drive to right near where you are. Like, I'm coming from over an hour away to buy this. I'm like, okay.
Sold.
Well,
those are, I mean, I guess also we have those entering in like Taurus, who enter in with the G2C. That is a solid gun, a great option, and it's a couple $100 literally. Used probably under two or under. Brand new $250, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes 2 for a deal. Some places I'm sure if you looked hard enough and you were actually looking for a specific gun. And actually this week I did find something that I'm kind of disappointed I didn't make a deal on. It was a Glock 17M. Have you ever heard of that?
Okay.
It's the FBI model,
Okay.
and I kind of was I should have made a more aggressive deal with the guy, but I was just trying to see where he was at, and I didn't get a hold of it, but I did miss out on a Glock 17M. I thought that was kind of neat.
Before I bought my shotgun this weekend, I almost picked up a FNX 9mm. It was used with 3 mags, and they wanted 3. I say it was like 375 for, like 375 beans, and that's a great gun. Like, FNX, 3 mags with it. Like that was a smoking deal. I mean, I'm glad I didn't now because how much I've spent on my car and all this other shit in the past 2 days. But at the time, I was like, ugh, like that was really a close contender. Like I justified it as I didn't need another handgun right now. Like it's always nice to have extra handguns, but like I don't need one. Where I more needed the shotgun to fill a role, so that's why I went with the shotgun more. Plus, it was cheaper.
Yes, I went
but-
through a shotgun phase last year where I was like, I don't have enough tactical shotguns. I need to change that. And I spent I got like 3 tactical shotguns, and I was like, oh, okay, that's enough. So I get it.
Yeah.
I love shotguns. I like budget shotguns.
Well,
What did you get again?
I got a Maverick 88, but it's an older one with the field barrel on it, and it takes
Yes.
3-inch shells. So
Yes.
that's why I bought it, was because I wanted a shotgun with the field barrel, because I have a friend of mine whose dad has been begging me to go skeet shooting with him. He's like, oh, I can bring. He only has his one shotgun, which has a field barrel. He's like, oh, I can bring this. I'm like, no, I'm gonna bring my own. And I have my Benelli, but my Benelli's set up like a home defense shotgun. So I'm like, I'm not bringing that for skeet shooting. I was like, I can just buy a field barrel. Well, to buy a field barrel for the damn thing's like more than the price of what I paid for the Maverick. So I'm like,
You have a Benelli?
Yeah, I have a
What kind of
Benelli
Benelli?
Nova.
Oh,
It's a Nova.
you like it?
Yeah, it's great. It's an awesome little gun. Like
Okay.
I can drill steel plates with that thing with slugs in it like all day long. Like it's very nice shooting. Has that recoil management system in it.
I gotta pull the trigger on that someday.
It's so, like I can throw slugs in that thing and run it all day long, no issue. And like that thing will drill them. Like
Really?
it's nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Patrick Pew Pew says, since I got into guns in 2015, my collection has gone through a lot of turnover, trading up, and figuring out what I like the most. Mine did too for the first several years when I got in. Like I've always been into guns, right? But when I started actually buying my own, mine went through a lot of it. Well, for a long time, I only had one gun at a time, and I'd have it for a little bit, and I'd trade it for something else. I'd have that for a little bit, I'd trade it for something else, and like I just did that for a while, and then I got to 2 guns, and then like I went back down to 1, and then finally when I got my my P250 SIG, I was like, nope, this is it. Like I'm sticking with it. I'm not selling all my guns again. So like I kept, I'd buy some guns here and there, and like I might sell one here or there or traded one here or there, but like I've for the most part tried not to sell any more guns. I try to kind of hold on to everything, but with having a couple oddball milsurp things, like some of those I've been debating. I don't know if I'm going to or not yet, but I've been debating a little bit.
Yeah, I've been trading up the past couple of years. Once I found Arms List, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I was able to trade up, make money, combine. Okay, I have these 2 guns. I'm not really into them, but if I sell both of them, I can get a gun I really do like. That's been fun. So I have enjoyed it. And when tastes change, and especially when you try to downsize calibers, which we've done in the past couple of years. I think like 2019, we kind of decided, like my wife and I decided, like, okay, we're gonna stick with 9mm 45, 223, or 5.56, 7.62, and shotgun. That's pretty much it. We have other calibers, but I think
Yep.
I don't think we do actually. I got a 40, but that's different. Uh, but I don't even stockpile that. Everything else is stockpile. So got rid of
Yeah.
40s, got rid of 38s. For the most part, got rid of 7.62 by 54. I've got a couple boxes of that, but I mean, I'm not going to keep it. And if I ever needed it for a trade, it
Yeah.
would be the first thing to go. So like, I want to stick to those things. I'm not really interested. I got rid of I used to carry a Glock 32 after the Jack Wilson shooting in the defense shooting in the church. I was a big fanboy of 357
Yep.
SIG. And then I've gone now since to a modified Glock 19 for like carry. And probably will switch over to a 17 in the winter because I love that full size pistol. But
Yeah. That's me. I've tried to, like, I got rid of all my 40s.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, I don't enjoy shooting 40 to begin with, and it's more expensive. So I got rid of those. Like, so right now I'm down. Like, I have my obviously my couple boxes of ammo for each of my oddball guns. Like, I have a box or two of ammo for the revolver. I have some ammo for the Nagant, the
Yeah.
Mosin. I have some ammo for the Argentine Mauser and for the Tokarev. But outside that, like, I'm trying to streamline stuff. Like, I
Yeah.
have my couple boxes of ammo for 32 ACP, which I'd be open to adding a second 32 ACP. It's just usually when you're getting into that stuff, a lot of it's milsurp stuff, so it's very expensive. But you can still find deals here and there on stuff.
Oh, 22. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
22.
Yeah, I got 22. I got 38 357. I got 12 gauge 223. I want another 7.62 by 39 because I have my SKS, but I'd love an AK. And then I got 308. Like, those are kind of my.
And the
Oh, and
PSA.
380.
A PSA would be a good addition. You get a PSA AK. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if you're gonna get bougie, you can get a Sestava. Maybe a used Sestava. That'd be a good idea.
If I can find one, yeah. I'm not opposed to it. That'll probably be more or less my next purchase would be a good AK or a what's the word thinking about? Potentially another AR, but I'm trying to hold off on that for right now. I got two of them, so possibly like an AR-10 or something like that, like some sort of semi-auto 308. But probably if I can.
I would agree. That is the only caliber I have thought really hard about adding. Got to have a larger rifle caliber, something larger than 7.62. I do want to add a long range rifle. I mean, I shoot ARs at 100. If you can shoot ARs at 800 yards, if set up correctly, and I've seen people do it. I never did a 1,000-yard shot. I've done 500 yards. That's as far as I've ever shot an AR.
I did one just short of, I think it was like 3/4 of a mile.
Holy AR?
No.
Okay.
That was this was years ago with a guy that we knew that he did like custom long range rifles, and his was in 338 Lapua.
Okay.
So we took it out to the desert, and
that
was cool. But like,
I would be open. I'd be open to a 308. I would prefer that it would be in a M14. I would prefer an M14
setup.
I would prefer to sell a couple more guns, save up some money, and get an M14. If I had honestly not gotten crazy and bought a second FN A4 military classic, I could have had the money. But I saw a second FN A4 military classic, and I just got really excited. And I bought that thinking, okay, now I have two of my favorite rifle that I could hunker away. And if I would have been, I don't know, but still, I guess then you're spending $1 a round right now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I got my 308 bolt gun, and like, I bought that. So the 308 bolt gun I bought for two reasons. One, I had a box of 308 sitting around from when I had my Spanish Mauser in 308. So I was like, I need another gun in this because I have a box of ammo for it. But two, I wanted something that I can take hunting reliably. So if I want to go
Yes.
hunting, and I can
Yep.
hunt pretty much just about anything with a 308. So
So how does PA work? Is it the whole state you can hunt rifle?
you can hunt, to my knowledge, the whole state rifle, but I don't know. I know before I moved, PA was you could only do there's no semi-autos for hunting.
Okay.
Now I had heard that they changed that after I moved, but I
Okay.
haven't looked into it to see if that stuck.
So
If it was something that was just going up to change, like I haven't researched
for
that.
for
So
for us, if you put your palm up right about where your thumb, your first knuckle of your thumb and over, that's all shotgun. The lower part of the mitten is
okay,
shotgun, and only the northern part of Michigan is rifle.
it's
And
rifle.
I've predominantly, I don't think I've ever hunted with a rifle. It's always been shotgun, muzzle loader, um, a combo of the two. Slug gun. I've used a slug gun. I've killed like
Yep.
almost all of my deer with a slug gun. Which now
I've
you can shoot pistol calibers in shotgun zones. So like the 450 and all that kind of 44 mag that are in a rifle, like a rifled barrel, you can shoot. But so I haven't had a reason to get into that.
Yeah.
I like the slug gun, and also when you're hunting in brush and stuff like that, and I'm only taking, I got the furthest shot I'm taking is maybe 7,500 yards, like at
Yeah.
best. So I'm not even shooting that far. I mean, I'm sitting in cattails. And the top of I was sitting in a deer blind, and that's 8 feet off the ground in cattails. I'm not taking some long range shot. But I just was curious on what your thought was on the 308. It's hard for me to do that now as this ammo crisis that still is around. That's a lot of money to get into a new caliber. Which when I would think about it, what I really would like to do is like what Travis had was that 7.62 Ruger American Ranch.
Oh, yes.
Those look
Yep.
like a viable
I
option.
I wouldn't mind something like that. Yeah, to just to have as an extra option, something like that would be
Because you could hunt with
completely
that.
fine.
You could hunt with, and
Oh,
even
all day.
either, and I would probably want it in 7.62 because it's a heavier round. I really don't want it in the 5.56 version. I had
Yep.
a Ruger one. I got rid of it because of the reason of like, well, whatever shot I was going to take with this, I could take with an AR with a scope up.
So they have that version. Then CZ also makes a 7.62 by 39 bolt gun.
The ZZ were kind of cool.
I forget what that one's called.
Well, that would be an option because I would love for that because I think then I wouldn't have to add a caliber. I would have a bolt action that could fire far, and I could spend the money on a scope, and I wouldn't have to like dive into a new caliber. So it would hit everything for me. So that a 308 would, this could scratch that itch, I guess, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So I live up in the northern region. So
of where?
Michigan.
Where are you? Okay, cool. Northern Michigan. Yeah.
Mackinac Bridge is an hour away from me, just to give you a reference.
North or south?
South. North of me.
North of you. Okay. All right. Yeah. I love Northern Michigan. It would be good area up there. So
I've always been using a rifle. I never use a shotgun to hunt.
Yeah, you're all rifle up there, so that's cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's probably like what my setups would look like. Is I want some sort of semi-auto 308 just because I love having for my main calibers I want to have more than one gun in it. So like my 380, like I had my LCP for the longest time. That was my only 380 gun. And then I found that CZ83 and I was like, okay, well this fills in a gap as well. Like I can have two guns the same caliber. So that's why I want another 308. That's why I would love another, an AK type firearm. That's part of the reason why I bought the other shotgun was I was like, okay, now I have two things that take 12 gauge and they both serve different needs. So, I said down the road, I might get another 32 if I can find one cheap enough or something. Like, cool. If not, whatever.
And I guess if you're gonna have the question of a 308, you're gonna spend over $1,000 on a 308 AR. Why not spend a couple $100 more and get a M14.
I'll be honest, I'm not a huge M14 fan. I much prefer
Really?
like I know that's controversial, but like,
No, it's not.
and not to say I wouldn't take one, right? Like if someone's like,
Right.
"Hey, here's a free
Here's a free
M14," I'm
gun.
not gonna be like, "No, no way, man." Um, just like if I'm gonna do something semi-auto 308 like battle rifle wise, I'm gonna go either like G3 FAL, maybe
Yeah.
like a Scar, AR-10 if I can build one cheap enough. Um,
Have you shot a Scar?
I've shot the 5.56 Scar. I haven't shot a 308 Scar.
I have.
I will tell
So
you that I will I would wholeheartedly agree that's the gun I'd want to be behind in a firefight. Give me any sort of terrain, I'm picking that over a 5.56. That was amazing. It was a
oh
great
yeah, I
gun. It
mean
was designed very well. The recoil was not what I thought it was going to be, and man, that has a lot of umph to it.
yeah, you're just chonking like highlighters at people.
Yeah, and I mean, like in a squad format, I mean
Yeah.
you eat one of those given suppressive fire while another team or group or couple guys are moving up. That's keeping everyone's head down because that's
Yep.
slinging a lot of lead, a lot of hard lead, right at the whatever position you're trying to advance to or whatever. But that is an option for the civilian side of a team of dudes. A guy with a heavier rifle laying down some hate, while some guys with 5.56s moved up or moved away or whatever you wanted to talk about. But I think that's a really good. I was much better than I thought it was going to be. Would I sell 6 guns to get to that? I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't know. If I knew I was going to Ukraine tomorrow, maybe. I mean, like,
Yeah.
but it not in the current configuration of what I think we deal with. So,
And
I don't
and
know.
a lot for like I'm in the same boat. Like it depends. A lot of it's gonna depend on what the hell I'm doing. Because like if I'm sitting there like clearing houses or something like that, like apartment to apartment type fighting, like I don't know if I want a 308 on me. Like I just
Yeah.
don't know if I need it. But if I have to make something where I have to shoot from like building to building or like ridge line to ridge line or something, like yeah, I want a 308. So
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think right now, I would rather have a 5.56 with 10,000 rounds stocked up.
oh,
Yep. I would too.
100%.
So I think that's you can a lot. It solves a lot of problems, and it solves a lot of the prepping aspect, the whatever one you want to look at it as. So yeah,
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm with you. And I mean, I know people love 6.5 and like all these oddball calibers and stuff, and like I say
Well,
six, like 6.5. It's
the
growing
blackout
obviously, but like
300 black round.
yeah, like even like 300 blackout and stuff like that. Like I know 300 blackout's a lot more popular than it even was a couple years ago, and
oh,
who
I think
knows
it's
what's
dropping
gonna
off.
be. What?
I think those extra calibers are going to hurt the most right now. So
I think I stick with 5.56.
Yeah, I mean they're cool. Don't get me wrong, and I know they have their place. Like whatever. It's just I they're not my go-to rounds. Like
no,
now I'm not gonna lie. For a while there, I was entertaining on buying a 50 Beowulf upper just because I'm like, oh, I want something that just like can throw big bricks of lead into people and stuff. But I'm like,
mm-hmm.
I don't really need to spend the money on it right now. Like that's a novelty thing down the road. Like once all my other boxes of like must-haves are checked, then I can mess with that. But like right now, I don't need it.
No, I would agree with you.
So
That's where I'm at with anything that's not practical use.
I think like
I'm
5.56,
not
9
I'm not in a
mil,
place.
5.56, 9 mil, 22, and a shotgun. I'd be all set.
Yeah, I just in this crazy world that we live in and trying to prepare 6 ways to 7 to figure out what's the crisis that we got to be prepared for. I'm just have a hard time buying a a K98 right now on my end. So
Well, even drop the 22 and shoot the shotgun. The shotgun can hunt anything you want.
that's the thing. Like, the only way I'm buying any sort of whatchamacallit, milsurf gun right now is if like I just get a smoking deal on it where I know that if I want to, I can turn around tomorrow and sell it, and make money off of it.
I would agree with you.
Because
I
I'm
would
No
just,
agree.
way. No
yeah,
way.
I'm just
K98 for sale.
there's just no way. Like I'm like I don't need a new caliber right now. It's not something I need. So, again, like if I came across tomorrow an M1 Garand for like $400, like damn well, yeah, I'm gonna fucking buy it. Like whatever, because I know I can turn around and sell that thing and quadruple my money. But like, yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
So.
I think, and it's just they had their place where it was a viable option for a lot of stockpiling and things like that. But it's just that ship has sailed for right now. There's really good options for that. So, but I mean, when you can get a PSA for $400, come on. I mean, like you can't beat that.
Yeah. So.
And most by my 8mm, I only have 2 boxes for my military guns. I stockpile 5.56 mostly.
Well, I kind of do the same thing. Like for my Argentine Mauser, I have a couple stripper clips loaded up with like a little bandolier of ammo. Like that gun is designed for, yeah, I mean it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but like that's for if something really goes bad, and I kind of know you, but I don't know you that well. I'm like, hey, you need a gun. Here you go. Here's some ammo for it. Have fun. Like deuces. Go get yourself something better. That's kind of what that's for. Same thing with my Mosin. Like I have a couple boxes of ammo, several stripper clips loaded up on it, several like little pouches of ammo with stripper clips in it. Like that's hey, here's gun, here's ammo, you go do you thing.
Most of my, I have 2 boxes. I reload, so I just keep the reloading stuff and just reload it as I need it.
Yeah, but that's a good point, though. I mean, it's a trade. I mean, it's a weapon and some ammo. That's a big deal.
I always keep 2 boxes.
I'm not
going to
feel bad about losing it. Yeah.
Well, here are one of my hunting guns I like to hunt with. Yeah, see it?
Yep.
They went up a lot, money.
Everything's just gone up. Yeah.
But
K31's a cool. That's another gun I kick myself on because I.
See, I bought mine with $300 when I picked mine up. So
I passed up on one that was like $350, something like that, a couple of years back. This was actually, I think it was in the pandemic, and it was rechambered to .308, and I was like, ooh, like this would be a cool gun, but at the time I just didn't have the money to spend on it. I was just like, I can't.
Yeah, mine is still the 7.5 by 55 switch.
Yeah.
Which I reload for that, so not a big deal.
But, well, folks, I know I said I wasn't going to run it too long, and I know we're a little over, so we've been going now for a little over an hour. I do have some other stuff I got to get to, but before I do that, I want to just run through chats here real quick. Most people are going through like their collections of what they got for ammo wise. Favorite guns. I know. Great anger if one goes down. Blah blah blah. ATM 14. If someone gives me one for free, I will say no. Angry. Yeah. No,
even if I don't like it, I would still take it. You can always sell it.
Well, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're cool guns, but they're very heavy for what they are. I mean, the aesthetics and stuff of them is really cool, so I do dig that aspect. But yeah, that's just my mindset on the M14 as well. Again, if it was cheap and like I came across an M14 tomorrow that was like $500, $600, I'd probably buy it. But I don't see that probably happening anytime soon. But anyways, folks, I think we're gonna probably call it. I know Matt has a chat here coming up in like 40 minutes. So
Yeah.
or no, maybe more than that because it's 9 Central. It's almost 9 my time. I'm East Coast, so an hour and 40 minutes. Same shit, different day. But yeah, so that's all I got for you guys here. Again, reminder: next week, Tuesday, not going to be a show because elections, and I'm sure other people are doing live streams. Might just reschedule till Thursday, but I'll let people know in Matt's Discord how that's going to work out. But I appreciate everyone coming tonight. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff if you want to. If not, cool beans. If you have suggestions for future shows, drop them down below. And yeah, that's all I got. Have a good one, all.
See ya.
See ya.